Glorious devotees, thank you for viewing another presentation on Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura's Sri Madhurya Kadambini, the monsoon clouds of sweetness. We now come to the Eighth Shower of Nectar, absolute fulfillment of the soul's yearning. This, of course, corresponds to the stage of Prema-bhakti. Viśvanātha Cakravartī writes in his eighth cloud bank, the first two leaves of sadhana bhakti, visible on the wish-fulfilling vine of devotion, bhakti kalpa lata, were described before. Now many leaves, called anubhāvas, far smoother and softer than the first two, yet like them, composed of shravana, kirtana, and so on, suddenly manifest on this vine, clinging to the flower of bhava. At every moment these leaves of anubhāv expand the great beauty of this vine, causing the flowers of bhava to blossom to their ultimate potential and bear the fruit of prema. The nature of this wish-fulfilling vine of bhakti is so astonishing that when its leaves, sadhana bhakti, its clusters of buds, asakti, its flowers, bhava, and its fruit, prema, attain maturity, they do not lose their original form, but continue to shine together in newer and newer ways. Some commentary in regards to these first comments by Viśvanātha. In this eighth shower of nectar, Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura elaborately describes the symptoms of prema and its anubhāvas. When bhava or rati has thoroughly melted the heart with the desire to attain Bhagavān, the desire to do what is favorable for Bhagavān, and the desire to have deep affection for Bhagavān, as mentioned in the seventh shower, it increases to the ultimate limit of ecstasy and blesses the devotee with a strong sense of possessiveness, mamatā, for his worshipful Lord. Learned persons refer to this stage of bhava as prema. The difference between bhava and prema is that bhava softens the heart and prema softens it absolutely. Bhava contains the pinnacle of ruchi, but prema contains an extreme feeling of possessiveness. Condensation of ecstasy is the intrinsic quality of prema. A melting heart and a feeling of possessiveness are prema's marginal characteristics. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu states the symptoms of a perfective siddha devotee, one who is completely free from all types of misery and is always immersed in activities related to Sri Krishna. Continuously tasting the happiness of prema is a perfected devotee. At this level, the devotee has a tremendous taste for hearing and speaking Harikatha. The nature of the crest jewels of devotees who are capable of extracting the essence of everything is that they have dedicated their words, their sense of hearing, and their hearts to Sri Krishna. They experience topics about him to be ever fresh, just as a lusty man always relishes talks about women. To the degree that a sadhaka on the path of jnana, yoga, etc. nears perfection, his endeavor diminishes. This is because on those paths, the stage of practice, sadhana, and the stage of perfection, siddha, are two entirely different things. In the case of bhakti, however, they are not different, they are the same. The only difference is that during the stage of sadhana, the devotee's bliss is diluted, whereas at perfection, it is extremely concentrated. Therefore, on the path of bhakti sadhana, as the sadhaka nears the stage of prema, his practice of bhajan in the form of hearing and chanting increases. At the stage of prema, Shravana, Kirtana, and so forth become his exclusive life and soul, and his performance of these angas of bhakti is gracefully adorned with various ecstatic transformations. The fruit of the vine of bhakti, prema, which is the essential function of Bhagavan's pleasure potency, ladini, is supremely tasteful and sweet. Compared to the delectable sweetness and intoxicating quality of prema, the four mundane goals of human life, religiosity, wealth, sense gratification, and liberation, appear most insignificant. Sriman Mahaprabhu has said, the fifth and ultimate goal of human life, Krishna prema, is the most precious wealth, by which one delights in Krishna's charming sweetness. Prema makes Sri Krishna become controlled by his devotee, and by prema one obtains the ambrosial happiness of service to him. Sri Viśvānātha continues, thereafter, the tendency of the devotee's heart, which was previously in hundreds and thousands of ways bound by the rope of possessiveness to his body, bodily relations, home, wealth, and so on, is now, as a result of prema, easily released from its worldly attachments. And just as any object that is submerged in a well of great nectar becomes saturated with that nectar, these tendencies, though material, are transformed into radiant, condensed spiritual ecstasy, chid ananda, by the power of prema. Thus, with that very same possessiveness, prema binds the inclination of the devotee's heart to the charming sweetness of the names, forms, and qualities of Sri Bhagavān. This is prema. Prema awakens like a great sun and immediately causes the various star-like goals of human life to vanish. Some comments in this regard. It is not easy to mix mercury and sulfur powder. They only blend thoroughly if they are vigorously rubbed together again and again. Similarly, although the propensity for bhakti in the form of Shravana, Kirtana, etc. enters the doors of the senses of the sadhaka who does not yet have rati, bhakti does not immediately fully mix or amalgamate with the tendency of his heart. When a person constantly performs bhajan characterized by Shravana, Kirtana, and so on, he grows through the stages of anartha-nivritti, nistha, ruchi, asakti, and gradually bhakti becomes one with the propensity of his heart. As long as this deep integration does not occur, the heart remains inclined toward material attachment, envy, and other material flaws. Upon attaining the platform of rati, the materialistic nature of the heart is destroyed and it becomes transcendental. An amalgam of mercury and sulfur is known as mercurous sulfate, and the amalgam of bhakti and the heart is known as prema. At the stage of prema, the disposition of the sadhaka's heart resembles that of a bumblebee overwhelmed and savoring the honey of the lotus-like names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Krishna. When, like a great sun, this self-effulgent prema arises in the sky of the sadhaka's heart, it causes the star-like constellation of the mundane goals of human life, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, to immediately disappear. The sole desire of the premi bhakta's heart is to render service to Bhagavān without the minutest scent of desire for sense gratification, liberation, or mystic perfection. Viśvānātha continues, the fruit of prema, condensed pleasure, sandrananda visesatma, and the ability to attract Krishna, Krishna Karsini, The delectable rasa of the fruit of prema is Sandrananda Visesatma, condensed, superlative pleasure. And the supremely nourishing potency of this rasa is known as Krishna Karsini, capable of attracting Sri Krishna. A devotee beginning to delight in this rasa immediately becomes intoxicated by it and is no longer concerned for any obstacle. What else can be said? In this condition, he loses all sense of self, just as a valiant warrior becomes fully absorbed in battle, or a thief preoccupied with his greed to secure a great treasure loses all discrimination and hesitation. Some commentary in regards to these two qualities. Prema-bhakti has two qualities. Its intrinsic nature is composed of condensed bliss, Sandrananda Visesatma, and it attracts even Sri Krishna Karsini. In regard to the first quality, Sandrananda Visesatma, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu states, the bliss of merging into the featureless aspect of the Absolute Truth, obtained after resolute meditation for over 50 years of Brahma's lifespan, a parartha equal to 520 billion Earth years, does not compare even to a drop of the ocean of bliss of devotional service. Sri Jiva Goswami provides evidence of this statement with a quote from Hari Bhakti Sudodaya. O Guru of the universe, directly beholding your divine form, I now dwell within an ocean of pure ecstasy. All other pleasures, including the bliss of merging with Brahman, appear as insignificant as the water in a calf's hoofprint. Regarding the ability to attract Sri Krishna, it is stated in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, because bhakti attracts and controls the object of prema, Sri Krishna, along with his beloved associates, she is said to be Sri Krishna Karsini. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura has explained that Sandrananda Visesatma is the relishable rasa of this fruit of prema, and Krishna Karsini is the supremely nourishing potency of that fruit. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Sutta Goswami has described that the two innate qualities of pure transcendental bhakti are ahaituki, devoid of the desire for the fruit of one's actions, and apratihata, unimpeded by any type of obstacle. Although obstacles may still arise as the sadhaka performs bhajan, he is not overwhelmed by them. Rather, their onset increases his humility, eagerness, and so on, resulting in progress on the path of bhakti. At this stage of prema, the devotee becomes so intoxicated by enjoying its fruit that no calamity or obstacle can affect him even slightly. Just as a valiant warrior furiously absorbed in battle forgets himself, or a thief covetous of great wealth becomes obsessed with stealing, fearing neither vice nor his own life, so the premi bhakta does not care for auspiciousness or inauspiciousness, as he is enchanted by the rapture of prema ras. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this presentation on Sri Madhurya Kadambini. I hope it has deepened your spiritual understanding and nourished your practice. Hare Krishna.